Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how to draw the White House. Well, first of all, I'm going to draw two parallel lines across as a guide, and then I'm going to get that height. So it doesn't matter what you start with, this is how you kind of carry on with. So I'm going to put that width there like that, and that's going to be the kind of central section, and that's the width. And I think if you say, look, there's a kind of half of it, I think you're going to want kind of about half again. So we'll put that on that side, and we'll put that on that side like that. So you've got a square in the center and two slightly longer bits there. Now on top here we've got another kind of bit sticking up above, and this is kind of where the triangular bit on the front is going to come to. So that's kind of going like that there, and we'll maybe make that bit just slightly wider there, because here we're going to have the pillars in the front, and that's going to come down like that. Let's get this one in first so we can get the other two pretty much in the right place there. And I'm not going to draw the bottom parts because we've got this very convenient hedge at the bottom. We can just put those bits in there to hide what's going on and make it a little bit easier. Now that's going to be going just slightly wider over the top, and you've got a very little kind of line there, and then we got the top windows are going to be about like that, and then the bottom windows, ooh, maybe a bit more there, they're a bit longer. So the top windows and then the bottom windows are a bit longer, and here we have 4 windows, 1, 2, 3. So you've got to get this right. So that's kind of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this will be a little bit longer. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can do this 1, 2. Actually, we can bring these down into the hedge here, which makes it an awful lot easier to hide somewhere. And then we have 3 windows in the front which are the same height here, and then we have 2 windows there which are the same height, and then we have some kind of ribbony thing going on there, and then a curved alcovey thing, and then doors, I think, and then hanging down is this enormous great big lamp that's inside. Now up here we've got kind of, we want to be doing a little bit wider than that, and then kind of about there and there like that. So we'll just do that and that. Then we have to fit 2 kind of double sections in there. You'll see why in a moment. Got little chimney pots there, and then we've got kind of the roof section up above, and there's a little kind of police hideout up there. And we've got chimney pots and a flag. So let's see what happens when we ink this in. I'm going to start here with a triangle, and here I'm going to do this in little curves. In fact, it's not curves, it's kind of squarish kind of blocks. So if you want to do it perfectly, then that's the way to do it. And we want another kind of line in there too. And then we got this, the same thing going on underneath here. And I'm going to do these in lots of kind of W shapes because that's a lot easier, and this is draw stuff real easy. Are you subscribed to this channel? If you're not, why not? And then here we want to have a little kind of plinthy section like that. That will come down there. And now on the top of these pillars we want to have these ionic scrolly kind of things like that. And then we can bring the pillars down like that. Now continuing along the top, we need this kind of ridge going across there, and then we want another one which kind of goes across there, and then these bits here are, let's put the ends in there, these bits here are kind of little balustrade things, so with a sort of gaps in between. So we're just going to do that like that, very, very, very simply. So we'll start there, and we'll put these. So the there are kind of pilasters, but we're seeing the gaps in between, as it were. So that will do there. We got a little chimney pot there, a little chimney pot in the corner, and then this is sort of coming up. We want another chimney pot there. So I'm doing this very, very simply. If you want to do the absolute fine details, go to Google and type in White House front, because this is the front view. And I'm just going to put, I'm not going to put all the tiles in, I'm just going to put a little suggestion of tiles just every now and then, like that. And then up on the top here there's a funny little hideout where I think the security guys kind of keep watch. Now we want to come down on the side there, come down there, and we've got a very, very light kind of line going across underneath here like that. And then we want to put in these 4 windows on this side, and the more evenly spaced and vertical and square you can draw, the better probably. I could spend 3 hours doing this, but I'm not going to. And each of these has a kind of a windowsill underneath like that, with a little kind of bit sticking down on each corner. And now I'm going to draw the hedge in here, in fact. And this is the kind of grass sticking up at the front. And we'll have sort of grass sticking up on the side. It should be more level, shouldn't it? Because it's nice level grassy lawns. And then you can put some more kind of squiggly hedgy bits in like that, which means then we can bring these ones, ooh, I'm going to give them a bit more room, bring them a bit lower, so but directly underneath the other ones like that, and we can bring them right down to the hedge, those ones. Now here we've got some kind of, maybe it's the president's logo or something like that, and then there's like a portico kind of thing there, and there'll be a door there. Oh, and then we've got that big lantern thing as well hanging down. So let's put that window in. So we need to put these, and then we got these little things above. That's a triangle and a curve, triangle and a curve. So here we have triangle and a curve, triangle and a curve, and then there's little bits of pattern, probably sort of plasterwork foliage and stuff sort of dripping down each side. And then each of these is a curve as well, almost like eyebrows, aren't they? There we go, and we want dots coming down there. And then we get the really boring bit. Okay, I'm going to speed this up, because in the top here we have 4 panes, we have 12 panes of glass in each window, so I'm just going to speed up while I do this. And here we have the same thing going on, but more panes of glass. And I know this is a real pain, and it's really detailed kind of work, but it is so effective in the end in a way of drawing this kind of window. And if you can make the panes slightly bigger and the space of the white in between even thinner, if you've got that kind of patience, it makes it look even better. And as I always say, make sure the ink is completely dry before you erase those pencil lines, because you don't want to forget the flagpole on the top with stars and stripes. And then maybe we could put some trees just to sort of finish it off. That's how you draw the White House real easy. And if you're watching this on Patreon, then you get the extra bit where I show you how to put some shading in.